Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel. So for today's video, it's gonna be pretty different from what we typically do. It's gonna be more of a vlog style of us redecorating our plant shelf. We're really excited to try this, so let us know down below if you guys enjoyed it and if you'd like to see more like it in the future. Also, if you're curious about any of the plants you're going to see in the video today, I do have a complete houseplant tour, which I'll try to link up above, if not down below. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so this is what the shelf currently looks like. Now, it's not super terrible by any means, but it is getting a little bit cluttered for my liking, like especially these two bottom shelves. I'll zoom in closer on each shelf so we can see. But there's also a ton of things that I've been meaning to repot for forever that I really need to get to. Now, something that I want to mention before I get further into this video is that obviously I am not an interior designer by any means. So this is really just me trying to figure out what's going to be the most visually appealing on this shelf while also optimizing space and making sure these plants get enough light. So if you're looking for a video that's going to be using like knickknacks or other things to decorate with, that's not going to be this video, but it is going to be me just showing how I'm going to organize this shelf and hopefully get these guys more light and space to grow. So while this video is mainly focusing on this shelf, I did think it was important to show you guys the other main spaces I use to put plants in my living room. So this is the area in my house that gets the most light, and the other two areas I mainly use for decoration and to get lights to plants are the fireplace mantle. So I might be flipping some of the plants that you see here as well. Got a big old long string of hearts. Say hi to Doodle real quick. Hey Doodle. My mom got him this floof and he's seriously been obsessed with it. So I might do some shots of him today. He's got his grumpy face on. Okay, bye Doodle. And then the last place oh, stay. And the last place that I typically use for plants is that shelf right there. It doesn't get the best light, so I'm definitely going to try to move at least one of those plants. And if you can see, hopefully that's not too quick, see those books on that bottom shelf? I think I'm going to put them maybe right here on this shelf and do something more decorative there since it doesn't get as much light. There's the video editor extraordinaire. Okay, so onto the shelves. Right now I'm on that very top shelf and I just wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of what I'm thinking. Oh, bless you. Just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what I was thinking for each shelf before we get into it. So right here, the Hindu rope is the only plant that I am for sure is going to stay in the spot that it's at now. If you can tell, it's really long, it's grown a lot. It loves this spot, and since it is so long, it needs to stay on that top one so the cats don't start going nuts with it. And if you can see, try to make this a little clearer, and if you can see, it is actually about to flower, which is super exciting. Cannot wait to see that. I will update you guys and probably do a whole video when that does flower. So yeah, moral of the story, that one is going to stay right there. This guy, my friend actually just gave this to me, and unfortunately the day we got it, it accidentally fell off of our countertop. So it is definitely in an adjustment period right now. However, it is actually putting out some baby leaves, so I think it's doing okay. But I'm not going to be repotting this guy since it did just go through that experience. I'm also probably going to try to find it a new home for somewhere else in the house. But yeah, that's that one. This is actually just a clear vase that I got at Hobby Lobby, and it's kind of not showing up very well on camera, but it looks really pretty in person, and I just put some cuttings there. I really like the clear glass look. I think it adds a totally different element to what I have going on the rest of the shelf. So I definitely want to keep something like that there, and that was actually inspiration for some other decorative stuff I got that I'll show you guys later. Okay, on to the second shelf. So I actually really like the plants that are on this shelf, and most of them are in their pots. However, I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to tell, but a lot of these are actually the exact same size. These guys on the back row have a little bit of a harder time getting light. So because of that, I ordered some silicone shelves to put on the back here to raise these guys up a couple inches. So hopefully they get a little bit more light and you'll just be able to see more of them. I'll show you guys those shelves later. I got them on Amazon and I think they'll work out pretty well. Okay, on to the third shelf. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit hairy. So I'll talk about the Hoya Chelsea first. That's this really big one right here. So I love this plant. It is ginormous and puts out a ton of growth for me. However, I have toyed with the idea of taking some cuttings and making a smaller plant because it does take up about half of this shelf. However, I love the pot that it's in and I actually kind of like the size. I think it breaks up the monotony of the rest of the plants since they're all kind of similar and on the smaller side. So the rest of the third shelf, as you can see, ugh, this is just like the land of the forgotten, honestly. So many of these need to be repotted, and honestly, a lot of the things here I just kind of put here to get light. So I got more of those silicone shelves, so hopefully I can put one back there. And so that'll raise up some of those guys. And then hopefully we can find a better solution to just make this area look a little bit cleaner and more put together. Okay, and last but not least, we're at the bottom shelf. You wanna say hi, Frosty? Hey. Okay, so down here I have these books. I do like the look of them. However, like I said earlier, I think I'm gonna put them on that smaller shelf. I do have more books I can use, so I might end up putting more here because I do like the look of that plant on top of them, but I don't know, we'll see. And then I have the whale's fin right here. These guys do okay in low light, so I might put them on that shelf over there that I was talking about. And lastly, behind those books, I have these two guys kind of hidden back here. I'm not really sure if they'll stay down here or what I'm gonna do, but I don't know, we'll figure it out. Okay, so that is the plant shelf. I think the first thing I'm going to do is repot some of the things that I showed you guys that need to be repotted. After that, I'll probably take off almost all, if not all, of the plants besides that Hoya, just so I can wipe down the shelves, wipe down all the plants, water anything that needs to be watered, and then that way we kind of have a clean slate and can go from there. Okay, so first up we are going to repot. These are a couple of the pots that I have that I'm going to use today. I also have a couple outside on the patio that I might use, but I will do a time lapse so you guys can see that. These are the silicone shelves that I got off Amazon. Honestly, I'm not like super thrilled about them. If you can tell, they're kind of like foggy and scratched up a little bit, but I think they'll get the job done, and once they're on the shelf, you really won't be able to notice them much. And then like I was telling you guys earlier, I did get some inspiration from my cuttings vase, and I got some of these that I think would be cute to use more as decoration and that I can also put cuttings in. So yeah, that's what we're going with. Okay, so quick update on the pot situation. I took down all of the plants that need to be repotted, and there was more than I expected even. So this is what me and Thalen have decided. So we got this pot, which I didn't show you guys earlier, but we had to grab a few more from the patio. So we are going to put the Hindu ropes. We have 3 here that are well established, as well as this cutting that has rooted and been ready for forever. So we're gonna put all 4 of those in that pot. This guy we decided to put in this pot. It's just in the nursery pot now, but we are going to plant it in that one. So moving on to this guy, which was behind the books that I showed you guys earlier, we're going to put him in that brown pot. This guy we've had for so long, and it's definitely ready to upgrade to a bigger pot. It might be a little bit bigger, but if you guys can see, it's not terribly bigger, so I think he'll be okay. He's been really resilient for us, so I think that will work out well. I'm really excited about this combo. This Hoya, if you can see, it has really pretty speckling on it that kind of mirrors that kind of grungy look on the pot. So these two are going to go together, and I think they will look really pretty. So that is that one. Next, this is the one I'm arguably most excited about. We have the variegated obovata going in this pot, which is just so beautiful. I really like the texture on it. And I think that in there will look really pretty. And then we have this guy who's been in a nursery pot in here for forever. And last we have these two guys. This one is actually the orchid keiki that I made a video on. And if you can see, hopefully you can see that kind of line that's forming? That's a root. There's roots down here. So this guy is ready to be in a little bit larger pot. So I think I'm going to put him in here. And then for this guy, he's so itty bitty tiny. So I'm just going to put him in a nursery pot. So the one that Hindu rope is in right now, I am going to pot that guy in. And so it'll look a little bit more like a pot, be a little bit more appealing, and we'll give him a little extra room to grow. Quick little keiki update if you guys were wondering what had become of the keiki that I cut off. Check out these roots. I'm really happy with that. Alright, so the repotting is done. We did end up putting most of the ones that I showed you in the pots that we had talked about. We did end up putting this guy in this little pot. And I did do a close-up of that keiki for you guys, but I was really excited about that. So I ended up putting it in a bigger container than I thought I would. So yeah, now it's time. We're going to water all these guys, clean off their leaves, and then I guess it's time to take down all the other plants from the shelf. Hours later, and he's still snoozing. Oh. Okay, and this is what it all looks like. It looks kind of crazy, but this is what we're working with. I moved all of the plants over here to the island, and if you can tell, I also moved plants. Like that one was from the little shelf on the wall, same with that one, and I also moved, where is it? Oh, here it is. This guy, he was on the fire mantle. So you can see I moved it from the mantle here. I did want to keep this guy here. If you can see behind, there's actually cords from our TV. So I like hiding it with this with this pot, since it does match the back of the fire mantle. I think it kind of helps just like melt away those cords. And the string of hearts does really well here too, and it has a good amount of space, so I think I'm gonna keep it there. Wanna say hi, Doodle? Can't even open his eyes. Oh, I did want to show you guys this too. Our Bertone is flowering. Well, it hasn't opened its flowers yet, but you can see they're just about to. Try to ignore the fuzzies. This plant attracts them so intensely, and it's really hard to keep it clean. But I also wanted to show you guys this. This is the little shelf on the wall, and if you can tell, we actually have this like mystery red button on our wall. That was kind of the reason I put this shelf up to begin with, to hide that. So I definitely need to put something there to kind of cover that up. And yeah, that's what we're working with. Okay, so the leaves have been cleaned and we are ready to go. So now is the fun part where we get to start putting everything back on the shelf. So first I'm going to use these shelves that I was showing you guys earlier. I'm going to try to figure out what size I want to put where on the shelf and then start putting some plants up on them. So I will get on that now. Okay, so this is what I have so far, and I'm liking how it's coming. However, I feel like I'm starting to kind of run out of some space, and I'm at a loss of how to style this bottom shelf. So I'll show you guys, like these are the plants that I still have left. So that's the one that was at the fireplace, and it might have to go back, but then I still have this really big pot, another relatively large pot, that one, this guy, and that one. So I'm just kind of at a loss. I did put the whale's fin up on this shelf, which I think it's looking okay. I might move it back down to that lower shelf, but we'll see. And I still need to figure out something to style there, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think I might move that one back down and just kind of fiddle with that for a little bit and see what I can come up with. Okay, so we're back to the shelf, and this is what I've done so far. So I decided to replace that whale's fin with this guy. I think it looks really pretty right there, and I also changed the books and stacked them there. Okay guys, so this is what we have so far, and this might be it. I'm really liking how it's looking. So let's see. So I put this guy up here. I haven't put a cutting in this yet, but I'm going to soon, and then I ended up moving this one here because I just love this one so much and really want it to get a lot of intense light. So I want that guy to grow really bad. And then down here, I'm pretty sure these are the exact same plants that I had here earlier except that one. So I did put the silicone shelf back right there. If you can see, it didn't go the full length, but that's okay. If you can tell, the two ones in like the terracotta orangish shade ones, they're actually a little bit bigger than the rest, so I think it looks okay, and they get up enough so they get enough light. And I put those two on the edge to kind of complement each other. As we go down, you guys will kind of see I like the more symmetrical look, I guess. I'm pretty happy with how the shelf looks. I think from afar you can't even really tell that it's there, which is kind of what I was going for. I definitely didn't want it to be super noticeable, so I'm really happy with that, and I think these two guys will get more light and be more happy. And then these, I just kept the exact same. I wanted this guy on the second one because, as you can tell, he likes to trail as well, so I wanted him to have enough space to do that. Okay, and then on to the third shelf. Oh my goodness, it looks so much different. So I played a lot with placement on these guys. We have the Hindu ropes back there, and then that guy is on a small silicone shelf as well. And if you can see, I started twirling its vine around like the wire part of the shelf. So I think that looks pretty cool. And same with that guy, he's kind of can hook onto that one as well. And then I put the two obovadas. I didn't even mean to put them by each other, but I did. Let's see, kind of pull these out a little bit. So those help hide that silicone shelf a little bit. So I like how that looks. I like that the middle one has a little bit more height to it now. I think it looks really pretty. And then on the bottom shelf, we actually did decide to move the Hoya Chelsea down here. I'm gonna take some cuttings from it to put in some of those clear vases I got. So some of the more straggly pieces you see now, I'm gonna cut those off and put them in those little glass vases. And then I did decide to keep the whale's fin down here. I think it's a good like staple piece for down here. And if you can see, we have the orchids in the back. So if you were keeping track, that means there are two guys that I still don't have a home for. This one I actually think would be perfect on my office desk. So I'm gonna run up there and put it up there to see how it looks, and then I'm gonna try to find a spot for this guy as well. Okay, so I just put this guy on my desk, and I actually think it looks pretty good. It does get a decent amount of sunlight up here, so I think it will be happy there. If anyone's wondering if you see any like dental related stuff in our videos, my husband and I are actually both in dental school right now, so no, we just don't have a weird thing with teeth. We are just in dental school and get a lot of dental gifts. And then this plant right here is actually fake. My friends got me a present a few weeks ago. Shout out Audrey, Allie, Lindsay, if you're watching this. I have it on my desk and I'm loving it. Okay, so now we are on the finishing touches. So I have all these little glass vases, and now Thalen and I are just trying to figure out what cuttings we want to put in these. So I'm thinking I'm gonna take a cutting from this guy. First of all, just how beautiful is that leaf? It's just so cool. So I think I might take a cutting off of this one. I'm thinking of taking one from this Brazil as well. I think it could be like a cool pop of color on the shelf over there. And then I'm definitely thinking that we are going to take a cutting from this Crinkle 8, which Thalen recommended. If you can see, it's getting pretty darn long, so I think we're definitely going to take one from here. So these are the cuttings that I took. Since we had 3 of these to fill, I took 3. I might end up putting a couple more in some just to fill them up a little bit, but I have the Hoya Crinkle 8, the Philodendron Brazil, and this Mandula Pothos cutting. So I'm going to put these in here and then put them in their spot. Okay guys, and this is the final look. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It might not be the biggest difference, but to me it looks so much better, so much more clean and organized. It definitely is a relief, and I'm happy that more of these guys will get some sun now. Now there is one more plant that I did not get to put on here, and that is this guy, if you could see him. I'm still not really sure. I have toyed with the idea of putting a floating shelf over in that corner, kind of like above that flashlight, above the light switch. So then when it grows, it could like tumble down. I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys think about that. But for now, I'm really happy with how it's looking. I think I might put this one just over there for now until I can figure out something. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you think of the completed look down below. Side note, after filming that intro, we actually decided to move a few more things around. So we put that gold little pot here on the shelf and moved a couple other things on the fireplace as well. And then up here, I switched the bud vase to this side and put a little candle next to the string of hearts. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know down below what you thought of the more vlog style video and if you'd like to see more. Be sure to like and subscribe down below, and we will see you at the next video. Bye.